Hello, if you're new here, my name is Shelly, and if you like true crime and conspiracy theories and also talking about serial killers, but you also like makeup, then you should definitely stick around. If you're sitting there and you're wondering, what is going on with her hair? Well, me too, sis. I have no idea what's happening. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about a case in Oklahoma. This one is a little bit too close to home for me because it's like Tulsa area, but also in Oklahoma City, and I make my way down to Oklahoma City a lot, so this one is just like too close to home, you know? Today is gonna be a simple look because I couldn't find much of a backstory on these people, which I'll get into in a second. So yeah, so if you don't even like hearing backstories, then today is for you because there isn't one. Today we're going to be talking about a man named Roger Dale Stafford and his brother Harold Stafford and his wife Verna Stafford. But the main mastermind here is Roger. So Roger was born November 4th, 1951 in Sheffield, Alabama, and then just a few years later Harold was born. But like I said, I could not find a backstory because their names are just so, I don't want to be rude, but it's like a basic white guy's name. So whenever you Google them, it's like so many old rich white guys come up, and a bunch of, there was one that was like a eulogy of a guy who owns a bank or something, and it's just like the names are so broad and so many people have those names. Like they're just so basic that it's hard to find specific information on these people. So they were born in Sheffield, Alabama, and then they made their way over to Oklahoma. This group of people specifically came to Tulsa, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City area to rob places and to get money. That was their sole reason for being here. No one has any idea why they robbed places, why they robbed people. Well, obviously it was to get money, but no one knew why they needed money like so desperately. Pretty much the only thing that I found was that Roger and Verna, they just needed money for a place for them and their 3 children to live, which, I mean, you know, desperate times, like there are just some desperate times when you just, people be desperate, I don't know. But then Harold's reasoning was because his girlfriend was pregnant and they needed to pay for an abortion because she did not want to keep the baby. So I have no idea if those are the actual reasons, but those are pretty much the only reasons that I found. So these people were just desperate enough for money to start robbing people. Roger actually started robbing people by himself though, and it was January 12th of 1974, and Roger goes into a McDonald's, and the assistant manager was a 21-year-old man named Jimmy Earl Berry, which, oh my gosh, Jimmy Earl Berry, that name is just chef's kiss, you know. But he was a student at a university in North Alabama, and he was shot 4 times by Roger because Roger walked in, he wanted the cash register, he wanted money. He ended up getting $1,390, but he did unfortunately shoot Jimmy 4 times and Jimmy died. And this case actually went unsolved for over 4 years. The police had no idea who did it because whoever did it just kind of, well, we know Roger did it now, but at the time, whoever did it just like walked in, took money, shot the manager, and left. This was 1974 also, so it wasn't like they had cameras everywhere like we do now and that kind of thing. So that one Roger did on his own to get money. But then 4 years later, June 22nd, 1978, Verna, Roger's wife, is on the side of the road in her car and she's got the hood up and she's just sitting in the driver's seat, you know, acting like something's wrong. So she was sitting there acting like her car was broken down. A man named Melvin Lawrence, he was 38 years old and he was an Air Force sergeant, and his wife Linda was also an Air Force sergeant and she was 31 years old. So they pull over and Melvin goes to check the car. He goes over there to help. And as he's walking up, Roger pops up out of nowhere because Roger and Harold are hiding so that they can catch these people off guard so that they can rob them. It was like this whole thing, like they set it up. And so Melvin and Linda are now out of the car. So Melvin is walking around to see what's wrong with the car. Roger pops up, so he tells Melvin to give him his wallet, and Melvin was like, no, and Roger ended up shooting Melvin. Both of these people are in the Air Force, so Linda, being the Air Force sergeant that she is, attacks Verna, who's still in the driver's seat, and somehow Verna gets a good hit on Linda's face, and then it kind of gives Roger an opening to shoot Linda as well. So here we have Melvin and Linda. They're now dead, and then all of a sudden Roger and Verna and Harold hear a little voice coming from the couple's pickup truck, and it's a little kid asking for his mom and dad. So then Roger goes over to the pickup truck, and their truck had like one of those cloth, a camper thingy on the back of it, and Roger just cut open the screen and shot their 13-year-old son, Richard Lawrence. Now later on, Verna actually testifies against Roger, and she says that whenever Roger asked for Melvin's wallet, Melvin said, I can give you some, but I'm not giving you all of it. And it just made Roger so mad because he wanted all of it, I guess. I don't know. But what makes this even worse, it's already terrible, but what makes this even worse is that they were on their way to a funeral. They were at a base in San Antonio, Texas, which is where they were stationed, and they were driving up through Oklahoma, and they were going north because Melvin's mother had died. So they were on their way to her funeral. Then Roger and Harold dumped the bodies of Melvin and Linda right there, and then they actually took Richard's body and drove a little ways, and then I don't know why they dumped him in a different place than his parents, but they did. And later on, when I guess Roger was talking to his cellmate, this is after he gets arrested and everything, he told his cellmate that at that point in time, it didn't make any difference whether the person was 2 or whether the person was 82. They were gonna kill them and take their money. So Harold and Roger get in the pickup truck, and Verna follows behind them, and they make their way to the Will Rogers Airport in Oklahoma City, and that's where they end up dumping the pickup truck, and then they left. It was just another case where there wasn't much evidence to go on from police. They didn't really leave anything behind. I mean, nowadays, I feel like there would be a lot more evidence to go off of, but I mean, in the 70s, they just did not have as much technology and stuff that we do today. So then, just a few weeks later, July 16th of 1978, Harold, Verna, and Roger are just sitting in their car in a parking lot of the SIRLOIN Stockade restaurant in Oklahoma City. And they're just sitting in their car waiting for everyone to leave, waiting for the customers to leave, and they're waiting for like everything to just die down, you know? It's like they're waiting for closing time. So they sit in the parking lot until about 10:30, and then Roger and Harold go up to the back door of the restaurant and they knock. Then the manager of the restaurant, 43-year-old Louis Zacharias, answers the door, and what he sees is Roger and Harold just standing there with their guns pointed at them, and they're just immediately like, take us to the register, give us the money, blah, blah, blah. So the manager, Lewis, isn't the only one there. There are 5 other employees there at this time. Lewis keeps making little remarks and making Roger more and more mad. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that employees, if you're being robbed at like a fast food restaurant or I don't know, like a gas station or somewhere, you're supposed to just give them the money, because if you like fight and argue with them, they could end up killing you or hurting or killing anyone in the building. So you're supposed to just like take them to the cash register and give them their money, give them what they want, so then hopefully they leave. Lewis was kind of doing that, but he was being really sassy while he was doing it. He was not obeying quietly, you know, giving them the money out of the register, and he's making comments like, I don't understand why people don't just work for a living, and he's saying stuff like that, just kind of commenting on how, why can't people just work for a living, and like he's just making all kinds of remarks, and this makes Roger so unbelievably mad. So he tells Lewis, he's like, you're the manager, I want you to gather all of your employees right now. So Lewis tells all of his employees to come to the register where they're all standing, and then Roger tells Harold, get them in the freezer. At this point, Harold is like really questioning Roger, because Harold is like, no one was supposed to get hurt. What are you gonna do? Like, why are we making them all go in the freezer? He's getting us the money. I don't understand like what's going on. And Roger is just like really mad at this point. So he tells Harold, he's like, get them in the freezer. I'm gonna take Lewis and he's gonna get me into the safe in the break room. So then him and Lewis go, and Lewis gets him all of the money that was hidden away in the safe. And there was about $1,290 in the safe alone. I'm not sure how much money was in the cash register though, so. But when Harold was telling Roger, like, remember, no one is supposed to get hurt, Roger just said they'll get what they deserve. And that is when Roger just starts shooting the employees in the freezer. I don't know why this is really important, but one source said Roger shot the only black employee first. I don't think it's like a race thing. I think Roger just wanted money, and he also liked to kill people. I don't think it was like a race thing or anything. I just thought that was kind of interesting, but also not really. So they just open fire on the employees. Verna is like outside in the store, and she said that all she heard was screaming and a bunch of gunshots. Roger actually went and got her and said, it's time for you to take part. And he put his gun in her hand and forced her to pull the trigger at these people, but she didn't want to. It was like Verna and Harold really didn't want anyone to get hurt. They just needed money. And this, in my opinion, it was Roger who was trying to kill people. I don't know. So the police got there, and whenever the police got there, one officer said that whenever he walked in, all he could see was like just blood and brains everywhere. His words, not mine. So it was like a really violent scene, and this was like one of the biggest cases in Oklahoma City, and it still is today. It's just like someone walked in and massacred all of these employees just to get a little bit of money. It wasn't even a lot of money. So that's why it's baffled so many people too, is because they really didn't gain that much financially from robbing these places. So in case you're interested in the names of the victims, they are 43-year-old Louis Zacharias, who was the manager, 56-year-old Isaac Freeman, 17-year-old David Lindsay, 16-year-old David Salzman, 17-year-old Anthony Tu, and 15-year-old Terry Horst. And Terry Horst was actually still alive whenever the police got there, but she wasn't alive long enough and she wasn't able to speak enough in order to really tell them anything. September 3rd of 1978, a little boy goes up to his dad, and this has something to do with the case, I promise. He goes up to his dad and he says, "Dad, can I have a gun?" And the dad says, "Of course not. You're a little kid." The boy said, "I've already got some," which, what a sassy little boy. But remember from Lewis, the manager, sass kills. So all of you sassy people out there, sass kills. So he told his dad, "Well, I've already got some," and he held up a bag of 3 guns. And he ended up finding the 3 guns that Roger, Harold, and Verna used in both of these cases. And then that is what gave the police like the evidence that they needed to link the 2 together. And also, while they were leaving the Sirloin Stockade, they almost got in a wreck. And the driver, of course, the driver isn't going to know that they just killed a bunch of people, but the driver did see Roger in the driver's seat, so later on he was able to identify him fleeing the scene. The police really did not have a lot of information to go off of, like, whatsoever, so they were having really bad luck trying to solve who would do this, because I mean their only motive was money, but that also was like baffling police because like the family and then Sirloin Stockade, like they just didn't have a ton of money. So to police it was like, if your only goal was money, why wouldn't you just like rob a different place? I don't know. This is just what the police were thinking. And I mean, these people, they were originally from Alabama and they came to this area solely to rob it. So that also kind of helped them get away with it for a while. But a few months later, January 3rd, 1979, a very drunk Roger Stafford called the police station and said, "Hey," he did it anonymously, by the way, real smart guy. He said, "Hey, my brother and my wife killed all those people." Real anonymous, Roger. Real anonymous. It's amazing. Wow. That's basically what they needed to start putting all of the pieces together finally. And around this time, Harold had actually gotten in a really bad motorcycle accident. And a lot of people think that it was suicide because he was going the wrong way down a highway. A lot of people think that he was driving the wrong way on purpose because he wanted to die. A lot of people think that that was a suicide. After getting that call, the police knew about Harold's death, so they were like, if these are the guys that did it, then let's sit around and wait and see if anyone comes to look at his body, because they needed someone to come and identify him. So they were just kind of sitting and waiting to see who would come and who would be identifying the body. And lo and behold, Verna Stafford shows up and she identifies it as Harold, and then she leaves. She actually leaves town like really fast. But the police are following her because they were like, let's not arrest her yet. Let's see if she leads us to someone else. Let's see if she'll lead us back to Roger, wherever they went. So then they follow Verna all the way up to Chicago, and up in Chicago is where the police are able to find Roger Stafford. They follow Verna to a YMCA, and at this YMCA, Roger's there getting his workout on, I guess. So the police actually arrest Roger and Verna Stafford right there in front of the YMCA, right in front of everyone, and that's that. So March 13th of 1979, that is when Roger and Verna were arrested. And then Roger's trial didn't take long. I mean, it did not take long for the jury to decide that he was in fact guilty. Roger got the death sentence, and when Roger heard that he got the death sentence, he did not think that they were gonna actually go through with it, because he said, "I'm too good looking. I'm too pretty, so they're not gonna kill me." Like, who even does that? I feel like since he was charged with the murders of 9 innocent people, I don't think anyone's gonna care if he's good looking or not. So Verna actually testified against him in court, and she was sentenced to 2 life terms, and she was actually denied parole. Verna also divorced Roger, and after that, Roger got married 2 different times. So he had a total of 3 marriages. I don't know what the whole thing is with people marrying people in prison. You can't really spend time with them. Like, I don't think everyone that's in prison is like a terrible person. Roger is for sure. But I don't think everyone in prison is a terrible person. So like, I get if you meet someone that's in prison, you shouldn't judge people, but like, why would you marry someone who killed 9 people, you know? It's just a little weird to me. It's a little bit wacky. July 1st of 1955, Roger Dale Stafford was executed by lethal injection. And as he was dying, he was apparently talking to his 3rd wife. He kept saying things like, "Meet me at the gates of heaven," and he was saying all kinds of like religious stuff to her. And they said that he also started speaking in tongues, which, if you don't know what like speaking in tongues is, it's like a Christian's prayer language that they'll pray in or something. I think that's like the easiest way to describe it. And less than 2 weeks later, Assistant Attorney General Sandy Howard got a coupon for Sirloin Stockade in the mail for $5. On the back, it had a note and it said, "Hey, you got away with it. Hey, 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 you got away with it." I don't know how to say that. Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, you got away with it. I'm murdered and you helped do it. I'm innocent and you know it. And then it was signed Roger Dale Stafford 103, which was his prison inmate number. The police actually looked into it, and it had actually come from McAllister, and it was from his prison where he was, but it was mailed 3 days after he had died. So, a ghost. Just kidding. It was probably just like his roommate or something that he got to mail it a few days after as like a joke or something. That is all that I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about Roger. Ooh, I forgot to mention this, but there were so many sources that said that Verna was the mastermind and that Verna was the one that was getting Roger and Harold to do these things. But I don't really agree with that. She was trying to put off the innocent vibes, and I think that she's a lot more guilty than how she was acting, because it was her whole idea to act like their car had broken down and to lure the Lorenz family in. So she is definitely not innocent, but I believe the real sicko here is Roger, because there were several times when all he had to do was rob the people and not kill them, but he killed them anyway. I think that he had anger issues, and I wish I knew what happened in his childhood, but I searched so much and I could not find what happened in him and Harold's childhood. So there you have it. What do you think? Like, you understand why he killed those people, which I don't mean that and how that sounded. I mean, like, do you understand why he was like robbing people but he also killed them? Or are you more of the, you could have not killed people and you're kind of a crazy person because I feel like you wanted money but you also wanted to kill people? I don't know. Just, if you see a car on the side of the road, don't stop. If they seem like they really need help, then call the police and let the police know that there's a car. You can tell the police where the car is and all of that stuff, but you yourself should not stop, especially if you're alone. Even if you're not alone, because like I said, these 2 people were sergeants in the Air Force. They could take care of themselves, and unfortunately they both got shot. But just be careful out there and watch your back. Don't live in fear, just live in safety. Yeah, so I will see you guys next week. I also have a giveaway coming up, so stay tuned for that. I have a few of my favorite things in the giveaway. Every year I do a Halloween giveaway, and Halloween is next month, you guys. So I will be starting my 13 days of Shelloween next month. I'm already planning and I'm already so excited about it. It is where I do a 13-day countdown to Halloween. So basically for the 13 days in a row, you will get a video from me like counting down to Halloween basically. But that also means for the first half of October, I will not be posting. So this video, and then I have one more video in September, and then after that, there will be no videos until my 13 days till Halloween. And yeah, so my giveaway, I will announce my giveaway. I will tell you what all's in it, and then the last day of my giveaway is Halloween. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. I will be telling you guys all the details soon. So give this video a thumbs up because I like it when you like it, and also hit the button down below and subscribe, become a part of this crazy true crime family of beautiful people. We are just beautiful serial killer enthusiasts. Not really enthusiasts. I don't know. I just like talking about it. I don't know. I'll figure out how to say that later. Anyways, feel free to follow me on all my social medias. It is just Shellie G MUA on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And if you just want to follow me on Instagram so that you can see makeup without having to hear me talk for a really long time, then I completely understand. I will be talking to you guys later. Also, thank you for, we have what, like 210 subscribers now? That is like blowing my mind. Like, I know that there are people out there that have way more than 210. I know that, but to me that is like so many people, and it makes my heart so happy, and I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate your support so much, and that's why I like to do giveaways, because yeah, I just like to give back, and I feel like that's a good way to give back. So definitely keep your eye out for that. I'm so excited. It's gonna be Halloween. It's spooky season. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop blabbering now. I hope that you guys have a good, blessed day. God bless. Love you. Bye.